Well, we're back once again out on the trails. Today's mission, find a new training route. It's a beautiful day on the outskirts of Glasgow, and we're off on a ride today to explore a potential new training route. I'm following a sort of structured training plan, part of which is that my long rides need to sit at certain powers. And while I absolutely have the option of doing these on the turbo trainer, it's much nicer to be out in the real world. However, with that comes some issues, of course. Things like traffic lights, junctions, cars, you know, all sorts of different stuff, which make it difficult to sit at a constant power. So I've hatched a dastardly plan, and that plan is to find a sort of circuit on some good B roads, which sit off the main road, and therefore I don't need to worry about these kind of obstacles. The criteria really are three things. Firstly, quiet. Hopefully little to no cars or other people to worry about. Secondly, good tarmac. The difference between riding for 2 or 3 hours on really lumpy, bumpy concrete versus nice, smooth asphalt is not to be understated. And thirdly, if possible, it would be nice if it had some sort of a climb that I could factor in, really just for use for any intervals that I might need to do as part of the workout for the day. With that all in mind, I've spotted a potential candidate just north of Glasgow, and we're currently on the cycle paths heading northeast out of the city to explore it and evaluate. And here we now are on said route, and what a beautiful route it is proving to be. I've literally just got on to the roads that I was planning to get to. I've devised a kind of figure of 8 style loop, which should hopefully form a sort of circuit. So we're going to start exploring that. Hopefully it will continue as it started. The tarmac's great. As you can see, there's absolutely no one on it, except for me and my wee bike. So let's complete a lap and see how we get on. It would seem that I'm not the only person to have discovered this route. So it's maybe not as quiet as I'd hoped, but if it's other bikes and runners and that's absolutely fine by me. Maybe it's just a really well kept local secret that I never knew about. Entirely possible. I have to say, hopefully you can hear me over the wind, there's some absolutely beautiful houses up here. One guy with both a Ferrari and a Lamborghini, so he's obviously doing all right. I've just stopped for a sec, but I think we've absolutely nailed it. This is exactly what I was looking for. Over there in the distance, over there is Glasgow. I've literally come like 45 minutes ride out of the city, and now it's like proper rural little lanes, and it's quiet and it's fantastic. It's occurred to me the fact that there's other runners and riders and stuff around is actually a really good thing, because presumably then it means that the locals are used to there being bikes around and stuff, and I'm not going to surprise them, you know, not going to come around the corner and find me and be surprised there's a bike there. But I think it's perfect. We aren't in the way of the main roads aren't in the way of us. Do you know what it reminds me of? It's quite funny when I was going along there and there's all these runners and cyclists and that. This is like Watopia from Zwift, but just north of Glasgow. It's quite funny really. It's like this little patch. Anyway, we're going to keep exploring. I haven't done a full lap yet. We're about halfway around the lap. We're on the sort of coming back to the start part of the figure of 8. More than halfway around, if that makes sense. And then there's a little climb I want to check out, so that's what's coming up next. But first we'll get back to the start point and complete the lap. Okay, so we're now at the foot of this start of this small climb, so we're going to explore this now. This is like a little additional add-on to the loop, so should you want to do a bit of a climb, you know, I can use this for harder intervals, things like that. The rest of the route is it's not flat, but it's kind of rolling, I would say. It's quite nice to ride on that kind of profile, but this is a bit more of a dedicated climb. So we'll see. There's obviously two ways I can approach it, either from this side or the other side. We'll give it a try and see how we get on. Okay, so this is us basically at the top. Not gonna lie, I was a bit steeper than I thought. That first bit, yeah, like you couldn't really do it sitting down. I was in like my highest or lowest gear, whatever way you want to look at it. The biggest gear. I was in my biggest gear, and I don't think I could have done it sitting. Or I could have done, but it would have been a lot of a grind. But that's good because it's quite a variance from the rest of the route. So the plan now, I'm gonna do this loop a few more times. My training for today is 2.5 hours at 180-ish watts, with 20 minutes up at sort of 250, 230 watts. So maybe I'll use the climb for that, or maybe I'll just try and, you know, increase the power on the more rolling section. I'll do a few more loops and I'll close out with final thoughts on the ride back into Glasgow. So we're now wending our way back towards Glasgow. I'll share the final ride stats, but I think basically mission accomplished. That route's going to be so useful going forwards. I don't want to just ride on that one route, obviously that would get a bit boring, but it's good to know it's there. I also did the climb again from the opposite side quite a few times actually, to form that kind of 20-minute interval I was talking about, and that was good. Tarmac's a bit better on that side, and visibility too, so I think I'll use that one going forwards. But yeah, very successful day out on the bike. Thanks for coming along for the ride with me. If you enjoyed this and want to see more videos, you know what to do. Subscribe down below. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one.